Shalom from Israel. I'm Hananya Naftali with the latest update from the Middle East. The last few days have been extremely difficult. More lives taken, more heroes lost. Today I want to bring attention to several critical events. We'll talk about the horrific helicopter crash in Rafah, a terror attack in Samaria today, the rising threat from Hezbollah, and the horrific conditions in which 6 of our hostages were found in Gaza. Stay with me because there's a lot to unpack. First, let's talk about the heartbreaking loss of 2 of Israel's finest. An IDF Israeli Air Force Black Hawk helicopter crashed during a rescue operation in Rafah, tragically killing IDF soldier Daniel Alush and Tom Ish Shalom, both from Unit 669, one of Israel's most elite units. These men were not just soldiers, they were heroes who risked their lives countless times to save others. This time, they were attempting to evacuate wounded soldiers from Gaza when their helicopter went down. And let me be clear, there were no enemy forces involved. This was a tragic accident that's being investigated right now. But what breaks my heart in all of this is that these men were on a life-saving mission. They were rescuing wounded soldiers. The IDF actually has saved thousands of lives during this war, over 1,800 soldiers, pulling people from the jaws of death. We cannot let their sacrifice be forgotten. The price of freedom is eternal vigilance. Israel stands strong because we refuse to abandon the mission, and neither should you. Now, let's move to the terror attack in Samaria today, where Staff Sergeant Gary Gideon Hangal was murdered in a horrific ramming attack in Judea and Samaria. He was only 24 years old. Hangal made Aliyah from India in 2020 with the dream of defending the state of Israel, and he died doing just that. This attack is another reminder that we live in a country constantly targeted by those who seek to annihilate us. The IDF has already mapped out the attacker's home for demolition, but let's be honest, this is not enough. Destroying homes of terrorists is not enough. It's not going to get us anywhere. And do let me know in the comments if you agree with me. We need to send a message that every single attack will be met with overwhelming force. Every time one of our soldiers falls, every time an innocent is murdered, the price for our enemies should be tenfold. Terrorists should live in fear of what Israel will do in response. No more excuses, no more words. Time for action is now. Now, let's move to Israel's northern border. Hezbollah is pounding away at our northern border, firing rockets and anti-tank missiles daily. This is not some ragtag militia. Hezbollah is Iran's spreadhead, a puppet terrorist army that has hijacked Lebanon and aims to destroy Israel. They've attacked our northern communities relentlessly, forcing tens of thousands of Israelis to evacuate, to become refugees in their own countries. And for what? So they can claim a few symbolic victories for Hamas? Make no mistake, Hezbollah does not care about Palestinians. They care about their own survival. And they're happy to sacrifice Lebanon for it. Look at it. I mean, look what southern Lebanon looks like. Hezbollah couldn't care less for the Lebanese people. Since October, Hezbollah has been launching attacks on Israel's northern front under the guise of supporting Gaza. But here's the truth. This has nothing to do with Gaza and everything to do with Iran's grand strategy. Iran wants Israel bogged down in a long, grinding conflict. They want to bleed us dry. They want to see chaos and destruction. But guess what? They will fail. Israel is prepared, and we will crush Hezbollah when the time comes. Evil doesn't rest, and neither should we. Hezbollah is not just a threat to Israel, by the way. It's a threat to you as well, a threat to the Middle East, and radicalism needs to be cut out aggressively and completely. Iran and its proxies will push, but Israel will push harder. Lastly, I want to talk about the most horrific story of all, the discovery of the 6 murdered hostages in Gaza. Hirsch Goldberg Pulling, Eden Yerushalmi, Ori Danino, Almog Saousi, Carmel Gat, and Alex Lobanov, all brutally executed by Hamas after 11 months of hellish captivity. They were found by our IDF forces between 48 to 72 hours after they have been shot. So the IDF assumes that their captors shot them dead as soon as they sensed that the Israeli forces are coming closer. It really shows you that Hamas has not changed. Obviously, I did not think that they'll change for 1 second. It really shows you that even after 11 months of a war, Hamas's ideology remains the same: to kill Jews in cold blood. These are not just names. There were people with dreams, families, and futures. They were dragged into tunnels, kept in inhumane conditions, starved, tortured, and ultimately slaughtered. The video that the IDF releases actually shows the despicable conditions in which these hostages were held. A narrow, stifling tunnel, 20 meters underground, with bottles of urine, bloodstains, and makeshift mattresses. This is what we are dealing with. Monsters. Hamas is not a political entity. Hamas is a death cult. The world should know this. They take innocent lives without a second thought. And they glorify murder. To those around the world who will defend Hamas or call for a ceasefire, let me say this: you are complicit. You are enabling the worst kinds of evil. The blood of these hostages cries out for justice, and justice will be served. This is a fight between light and darkness, good and evil. There is no middle ground, no room for compromise. If you're not standing with Israel in this fight, then you're standing with terror. So choose your side wisely. Israel is at war, not just against terrorists with guns and rockets, but against an ideology of hatred that seeks to destroy us all. Me and you as well. Whether it's in the skies over Rafah, or at a bus stop in Samaria, or in the tunnels of Gaza, or even on social media, we face an enemy that will stop at nothing. But we too are unstoppable. Now more than ever, I urge you to stand with Israel, stand with truth, share this video. I invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and don't just sit on the sidelines, because this is the time to act. Friends, Israel is more than a country. It's a miracle. We are here against all odds, and we're not going anywhere. Those who come against us will fail, because as the Bible says, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. We're on the right side of history and on the right side of God. Stand with Israel. Stand with truth. Until next time, shalom, and may God bless Israel and all